This is Muhammad Saad server, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use Ansible to provision software from an instance of AWS. We'll create two instances. One of the instances will be called the control node, the other would be the manage node, and we will provision software from the control node to the manage node with the help of Ansible. I will also show you how to create an AWS instance for this specific purpose. So let's get going with it. I already have an instance for the manage node here. If we can click on it, you can see this is the AWS instance. I will just show you in a minute how I created this. So it's a T2 micro instance type, and it's an AMX, so Amazon Linux 2 instance. I already have a control instance, so I will have to create a host or manage host instance now. So we'll go to launch instances for this purpose. And here I will select the Amazon Linux image, the first option here. And from the free tier eligible, I'm going to select Amazon Linux 2 AMI. And if we go down, the T2 micro is already selected. That's fine for me. For the key pair, I have already created an RSA key pair, which is the Ansible key pair. But I will select that. If you want to create a new key pair, you can use the create new key pair command. The security group, you can just select allow SSH traffic from anywhere, or allow HTTP traffic from the internet. So I'm just going to select allow HTTP traffic from the internet. I'm going to select SSH as well. The storage type is going to be 8 GB, and that should be good enough for us. And I just want one instance like that, and that should be good for our purpose. Okay, I'm just going to launch instance now. It will take a minute and it will show up pretty soon. Okay, let's just wait a little bit. It says it successfully launched the instance. Okay, so we launched the instance. It should show up here. Let's just drag it down a little bit to see if the instance is there. Let's click on instances. Okay, so we can see that it's initializing at the moment. So the IP address for our control node is 52.91.129.164, and the one that is initializing is 54.224.164.222. So these are the public IPv4 addresses. If you want to see if the website or anything that we have created has launched, then we will use these this IP address with the EC2-54, and this is the one that will show up on the web if we type this. I will show you that later. So let's refresh it if it has initialized or not. It will just take a minute or more. In the meantime, we can go into our we can SSH into our control node. I have this Ubuntu terminal. I'm gonna use this as Ansible key pair. I downloaded the key onto this Linux terminal. Let's see. You can see the key pair here. So I'm gonna use this Ansible key pair.pem certificate to remote into the control node. Okay, so we launched the instance. It should show up here. Let's just drag it down a little bit to see if the instance is there. Let's click on instances. Okay, so we can see that it's initializing at the moment. So the IP address for our control node is 52.91.129.164, and the one that is initializing is 54.224.164.222. So these are the public IPv4 addresses. If you want to see if the website or anything that we have created has launched, then we will use uh, these this IP address with the EC2-54, and yeah, this is the one that will show up on the web if we type this. I will show you that later. So let's refresh it if it has initialized or not. It will just take a minute or more. In the meantime, we can go into our we can SSH into our control node. I have this Ubuntu terminal. I've already used this. I'm gonna use this as Ansible key pair. I downloaded the key onto this YouTube. Um, sorry, onto this Linux terminal. Let's see. You can see the key pair here. So I'm gonna use this Ansible key pair.pem certificate to remote into the control node. Okay, so I was able to remote in. The reason I was not able to remote in earlier was because the SSH inbound rule was not activated. So I had to activate it from the security. So I just activated it. Now we can SSH into our control node. So I'm gonna run sudo yum update to update all these packages that it's saying. Okay. Supplying all the packages right now. Okay, so that's completed now. Okay, so these are the files that are already there. So now I am going to go into the host node from my managed node. Okay, we had already initialized an instance, and the instance is running, and we have our control node with the IP address of 52.91.129.164, and the managed node, which will be managed by the control node. The IP address for the managed node will be 54.224.164.222. So one thing which is very important is once you go into this instance, and actually we had already created those inbound rules for this. If you go to security, we should enable SSH, and we need to enable the HTTP port as well. So these two things are very important. So now we have these two instances running. We will go into our Ubuntu and we are going to remote into our control node. We need to enter the SSH command and the key, enter the key pair that we created, and the IP address for the control node. EC2 user is a default user, so we'll use that. We press enter, and we are into our control node on the AWS. So let's just check what files. These are the files I created earlier on this. And now we will use our control node to get into our managed node, whose IP address was 54.224.164.222. We are going to type that. Okay, so that's our IP address for the managed node. We have SSH'd into our managed node. So let's check the files if there are any there. There are none there. So we go back into our control node and we use Ansible to provision the Nginx playbook so that the Nginx web server is installed on our managed node. First, we create an inventory file. So my inventory file is my inventory.ini. So here I gave an alias for this Ansible host as red, and it's my Nginx. We just need to put the IP address to the inventory file that's already, so I'll just quit it. And then I will go into our playbook. So let's go into our Nginx playbook, Nginx playbook. And in this playbook, you see that we are going to install the and manage Nginx server. It will go into my Nginx host to install all these tasks. And we have put some variables. The version for Nginx is going to be 1. This is going to be the Nginx HTML directory. And this is the user home directory. And the file to be copied is going to be index.html from the user home to the HTML directory of the Nginx. This is our first task to install the latest version of Nginx. This command is going to install Nginx version 1, which is, this is a variable, its value is 1. It will be the latest, and it will install it. And then the service will be started. We'll use the service module here. It will be started as well, and it will be enabled as well through this task. Now the fourth task is to copy the file, index.html file, to the manage node. So this is our simple Ansible playbook. Okay. So now we're going to run this playbook. Command for that is Ansible-playbook. Then we'll put the playbook YAML file name, nginx-playbook.yaml, and put the inventory file, which is myinventory.ini, and then the private key. And then when we press enter, the playbook will be executed. Okay, so it chained 1 and the rest it did not, because I had run this playbook earlier as well. So that's why it just chained. It's just installed the latest version again, and the rest it did not really. Okay, now let's go into our manage node. This is the IP address of the manage node, and we're into our manage node. There's nothing there, but the index.html file is in the path which was put in our playbook. Let's check the path again. So the path here is going to be user share nginx and /html. So this is the directory where we should find our index.html file. So we remote again, and then we go into this path cd user share next /html. We're into the HTML directory, and we see our index.html. If we want to see what's in the file, it's hello world, so it's already there, and that Nginx server is running. Now let's check if we have this running in our node. We have this hello world in our manage node or not. So let's open the IP address. It's going to take a while. Actually, we would have to restart the service there too. So let's just run this command for that, which is to reload Nginx. So let's just do that. It should reload it, and then we should be able to access it actually. But we also need to remove the S here. Yes, we are just using the HTTP protocol, and there you go. You see the hello world here, which we programmed earlier. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. I will see you in my next video.